especially during the COVID period, most of the clubs decided to send back their team to their houses. We decided to kept everyone within the hotel
Wow.
on our expenses, because we just wanted to have the, not to break that bond which we have already created. हमने immediately आते ही तो ये चीज़ realize करी थी कि infra में थोड़ा बहुत challenges हैं,
Okay.
which we tried to correct it. But the another challenge was that there are a lot of approvals which we required even to make a small change in the club.
एक ना सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज जो मुझे एटलीस्ट फॉलोइंग इन द इंडियन सुपर लीग एज वेल इज सस्टेनेबिलिटी, राइट? कि बहुत आईएसएल क्लब्स बंद हुए हैं बिकॉज ऑफ पुअर फंड्स, राइट? हैदराबाद एफसी का भी यही इशू चल रहा है अभी, राइट? सो हाउ डू यू प्लान टू सस्टेनेबली स्केल द क्लब, राइट? बिकॉज
Personally, if you want my personal agenda or maybe a target for myself is, I really wanted to lift the ISL Cup only with the Indian voice.
oh wow.
So that's the kind of target which I feel I have for myself, that I wanted to create a team which with all Indian boys and lifting a ISL championship.
We're at the beautiful club of Sporting Mohammedan, the current iLeague champions, and I had the absolute honor of talking to Mr Kanishk Sheel, the director of Bunker Hill Sports Private Limited, the major stakeholder in Sporting Mohammedan. We had a brilliant chat about his philosophy, how he sort of changed from a cricket fan to now running a football club, and how they plan to sustain the Mohammedan Sporting Club. And the ultimate goal is to win the Indian Super League in the coming few years. He had a very clear idea, and that is something I loved about my interview with him. So one to definitely watch out for, and I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. We are at the Mecca of Indian football, and in Kolkata, we are at one of the homes of one of the most oldest and the most historical clubs in the country, Mohammeden Sporting. And, talking of historical, events, historical places, we are here to celebrate an historical occasion for the club. And I personally think not just for the club, but for the country as a whole, the fans of football in the country. So, to celebrate the momentous victory that Mohammedan Sporting had in the iLeague, we are here with the director of Bunker Hill Sports, the major stakeholder of Mohammeden Sporting. Kanishk sir, welcome, and thank you so much for sparing out your time and talking to us.
Thank you very much for inviting. But let me just correct you, my last name is not Sir, just call me Kanishk.
Perfect.
Thank
so Kanishk, I think one of sabse pehle congratulations. And
Thank you.
how does it feel? Because I think it was long due, Mohammedan winning the iLeague and then coming into the top league of Indian football. How is the overall mood around the club? How do you personally feel it?
No, it's fabulous. We've been waiting for this particular day for a very long time. We were spending like time on it, like a lot of family time being compromised, a lot of things being compromised, but we were completely on it. And yeah, the day finally arrived, and when the last match happened, especially on that particular day, I've seen like all the big boys crying like a small babies. So that shows everything, and that covers everything. I think we are too happy right now.
Yeah, I think I saw your video from the Sporting Club's Instagram page where both you and Deepak sir were crying, right? That the emotions
Right.
were as raw and as real as possible.
Absolutely. It was so that's why the way I mentioned it earlier, that especially in Deepak and I would say from Deepak's side, lot of family time being compromised. We've been in Gurgaon. We have to travel again and again. Sometimes we need to travel. We are going from here and we are coming on the next day or day after. So it was a lot of struggle for us. And then there are many times it has happened that, when we have seen that we are that close to winning and to reaching on a certain milestone, but something happens and we couldn't do that. So there are a lot of failures which we have seen, which made us more stronger and stronger to being in the game, being in the system. And finally, when this thing happened, we are still in a phase where we are digesting that we actually did it.
So again, sir, a lot of people don't really know the pain or the struggle that goes behind creating a champion team, right? Now that you've mentioned, there were some, heartbreaking, moments where you were probably just an inch, close to winning the title, right? how does the management, how does the team, how do you guys, as the directors, as part of the management, help the team recover from it, and even on a personal level, because it's difficult, right?
I'll tell you, one of the biggest disadvantage I would say being on the top and being in the management is that you can't show your emotions. So and that has happened on with us time to time. बट हाँ हम टीम को संभालते थे, खुद को भी संभालते थे, और उस तरीके से हमने सारी चीज़ों को मैनेज करा.
Perfect. So I would want to know more about you as a person as well, right? The person behind, the champion team. So you don't really come from a traditional football background, right?
Right.
Right. So can you tell us more about your individual journey and how did, Bunker Hill and Mohammedan's collaboration came into existence?
See, when I entered into a space, it was more of a business proposition for me because me and Deepak are friends for like more than 20 years, more than 2 decades. And that's how we ended up, started discussing more about Bunker Hill and Mohammeden Sporting Club. But I have grown myself with football a lot because I was more cricket driven.
I think like most Indians are at the beginning.
Absolutely. But when I've seen the passion, especially my perspective about this game changed because of the fans. Because the kind of craziness I have seen on field and even in the club, it's like massive. It's like unbelievable.
So I think the fans of football in Kolkata and Kerala, I think are the closest that comes to European football in India, right? Now that you're talking that, fans have played a major role, right, in your development into the sport as well, right? Do you have any particular instance in mind where you're like, yeah, wow, I would want to do this every single day of my life going forward?
That has happened in most of the cases. Even that has happened in the Durand Cup final as well. There are a lot of people who are, who have seen the struggle from Mohammedan Sporting Club to reaching at a certain point, even playing iLeague. And some of the people are like very old, like 50, 60 or 70-year-old people are coming to us and, with the joint hand and saying thank you to us. Those are very, like, these are the, the moments which actually moves you and make you more closer to your game and your team and your, towards your responsibility as well. So, there are a number of cases. Even right now, when a lot of people are coming on the airport, dancing crazily, they are nothing to gain from it, right? Correct. It is just a clear passion, and they're there on every possible places and supporting the team.
Absolutely. And sir, again, congratulations for bringing that back again to Kolkata. So when, as a fan, right, when a fan looks from the outside, right, he mostly sees the footballing side of things, right? Now you work mainly with the management side of the things, ensuring that the club is sustainable in the longer term as well, right? Can you tell us about your role particularly? How does Bunker Hill, right, and Mohammeden Sporting as two separate entities come together to create a champion team?
Well, it can't be cooked. There are a lot of things which happens behind the scene. There are a lot of failures which we see time to time. And it cannot be cannot be created through money as well, because if that would have been a possibility, we would have done it way back. And I think most of the clubs in India would have winning every championship if money was the factor. बट हम अपने साइड से काम कर रहे थे. टीम हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था कि टीम में वो सिंक क्रिएट करना, टीम के अंदर एक बॉन्ड वो क्रिएट करना जो एक फैमिली में होता है, बिकॉज वो ही आपका एक चैम्पियन टीम की मेन इंग्रेडिएंट होता है. दैट्स व्हाट मी पर्सनली बिलीव.
ओके.
Especially during the COVID period, most of the clubs decided to send back their team to their houses. We decided to kept everyone within the hotel.
Wow.
On our expenses, because we just wanted to have that, not to break that bond which we have already created. If and that really helped us in especially if I talk about 22 iLeague, when we ended up doing on the second position. We have seen it on the ground that how these boys were in sync, right? So time to time we have taken certain decisions which is not supporting to our pocket, but definitely supporting to the game. And I think from the management side that's our role, that's our responsibility.
And I think आपने जो स्पेशली कहा ना कि players को हमको साथ में रखना है. I think a lot of प्लेयर्स की इनसिक्योरिटी होती है, प्रॉब्ली फाइनेंसेस मुझे क्लब छोड़ देगा या वो कर देगा. एंड स्पेशली आई थिंक आप लोगों ने अगर ये कोविड के टाइम जो आपने चीज बता रहे, आई थिंक फॉर अ प्लेयर इट गिव्स अ सेंस ऑफ security, and then that security transforms onto the pitch as results, right, as motivation as well.
Right.
Right. ठीक है सर. अब आपने कहा the fans that you see every single day, कितना ज्यादा वो क्लब की तरफ committed है, right? Now, Mohammedan के लिए last 30-40 years have probably been the most difficult period for the club, right? In terms of, trophies, let's say, in terms of, competing against the city rivals for that matter, right? Where do you put this ileague championship in terms of, the previous success of the club? How high do you rank this?
मैं बहुत ऑनेस्टली बोलता हूँ कि हमने यहाँ पर अपना रोल और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को फॉलो करा है. मैं इसको किसी भी माइलस्टोन के साथ कंपेयर नहीं करना चाहूँगा. वी बीन प्रोवाइडेड एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू रन द क्लब. वी डिसाइडेड टू कम इनटू अ स्पेस एंड टेकन दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मोर वाइजली. और जो हुआ है अभी यहाँ पर वो कोलैबोरेटिव वे में हुआ है. वहाँ पर बहुत बड़ा सपोर्ट रहा है मोहम्मदन स्पोर्टिंग क्लब के. जो कम्युनिटी थी उन्होंने बहुत सपोर्ट करा. फैन का बहुत रहा है, गवर्नमेंट का बहुत रहा है. तो आई थिंक especially from the Didi side, there are a lot of support. Time to time, we got it whenever we faced any challenge. So I think it is not just us whom we wanted to take a kind of whole responsibility and कि हम ही ने सब कुछ करा है या हमने यहाँ पर आके करा है. वो कोलैबोरेटिव अप्रोच है. स्ट्रगल था, सब कुछ था. इन रिसेंट ईयर्स वी हैव सीन अ लॉट ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट. I think that goes without saying that major factor was the money, because when you involve money, when you buy good players, when you invest into a good supporting staff as well, then you definitely see some results, and that is exactly what has happened. Earlier, I think the only struggle was the money. When we came into a picture, we provided that support, some strategic side, and some professional team which we got in the system. Otherwise, it's the Mohammedan club. There's a great legacy to it. The n number of crazy people here in the management as well, in the board system as well, who are like completely professional and doing such a great job.
So again, थोड़ा difficult होता होगा, when you come from a corporate side, and probably there's other side where probably passion is the driver of decision, and probably for you it's the what makes sense on paper for you as well, or for the fans, or for the club in general, right? How do you sort of achieve that balance, between probably catering to the passion and the absolute, craze that people have for the sport, to the, business side of the things?
See, let me correct you. First of all, the corporate people are not robo.
Yes,
so we have those passions. We understand those emotions as well. And I myself, Deepak, we both play cricket back in Gurgaon as well. We run a cricket academy and taekwondo academy over there.
Okay.
And time to time, wherever we get time, we play certain matches as well. So we have we always had this passion for the sport. Not, if I'll say personally about myself, not particularly for the football, but the passion was always there. So we can easily understand and connect with the emotions either from the fan side or from the body.
Perfect. So talking about the infrastructure, right, facilities, right, were there certain changes that you felt, जैसे आपने join किया, right, whenever, as and when Bunker Hill came into the picture, आपको लगा immediate चीजें थी, and what were those key investments that you feel, whether it was infrastructure, facilities, any other thing जो आप लोगों ने करी that sort of, I think, changed the route a bit?
हमने इमीडिएटली आते ही तो ये चीज़ रियलाइज करी थी कि इंफ्रा में थोड़ा बहुत challenges हैं, which we tried to correct it, but another challenge was that there are a lot of approvals which we required even to make a small change in the club. So which took a little time, but with time we got those approvals. We started making those changes in the club, created those infras, whether here or back in Gurgaon, because we already created an academy in Gurgaon as well, which is powered by Mohammedan Sporting Club. We have a club here which is powered by Bunker Hill. So it's a tie between both the places, and that's how we are creating the infrastructure more stronger for the boys.
And so how do you plan to how do you plan for, let's say, Mohammedan not to just be, a regional thing, right, in Kolkata? And how do you sort of take this to Gurgaon, to the northern part of the country, where more and more people talk about Mohammedan as a club, join or engage with the community of the club? How do you see, how do you think that you can achieve? Because I think my assumption is this might be a challenge for you. So how do you think that as an entity, right? How
No,
do you plan to?
no, you're absolutely right. This will be a challenge, but we'll definitely try to work on it. Especially from the fan side, I would say that we have certain plans to engage these fans more with us. Even not just the home games, but away games as well.
Okay.
So we'll run certain programs which engage fans more with us. Whether giving them certain awards, whether running some particular just events just for fans. So we'll try to do that. So these are the things which is already we have started working on it, because since we are entering into ISL space and we need these fans more with us. So and not just in Kolkata, but we wanted them to visit and see the matches on different states and different cities as well. So I think down the line we'll start enrolling these programs. This will engage, and not just here, but I think we have created certain rules and some budget for promoting Mohammedan Sporting Club internationally as well.
Oh, wow.
Right. So and it can be two ways, either doing tie-up with certain clubs offshore, or there are certain academies which produce some good talent offshore.
Correct.
And engaging them with Mohammedan Sporting Club and doing it that way. So I think the reach, we don't want to keep this fan base or maybe the reach just in India, but we wanted to go abroad as well.
And in terms of just talking about the country itself, right? Do you plan to open academies in other parts of the country, or is that something that is not currently in the pipeline, or is that?
It's not currently in the pipeline, but it is definitely there in my mind shell right now.
Okay.
So and we have already started working on it and making our strategies how to do it.
Perfect. Now, Bankal, like आपने जैसे mention कि आप लोग उधर cricket के लिए भी focus कर रहे हो, right? So, is there a plan to probably create not just focus on football in Kolkata and probably expand into other sports as well? Is it something that you are planning to probably involve or indulge in other sports as well, or currently the primary focus is just football?
See, it is just football.
Okay.
We don't want to dilute our, because okay, if I phrase it very clearly, that football is on the stage right now, where if we decided to increase our focus on any other sport, then probably we'll waste whatever we have created so far.
Correct.
So अभी हमारा सारा का सारा focus सिर्फ football पे है, वही रखना चाहते हैं. We don't have any aspirations to going and focusing into any other sport. Cricket में भी मोहम्मदान में हम हैं, or we provide all kind of support over there as well.
Okay.
But football is the only thing which we wanted to focus, and we wanted to take it on another level.
ठीक है. So, final couple of questions
Sure.
from अब football Kolkata में, right? It's not just a sport, right? It's part of the community. It's part of their lives. It's
Right.
something that they live for every day, right? Talking about Kolkata in particular, right? Are there planned? How do you plan to engage the community in a better way, where it probably goes beyond just football, whether it is community development, whether it is upliftment in any other way, whether it is scholarship programs for kids from the city? How are you planning that thing ahead?
So there is one thing which we thought of, that we'll engage more people in Pan India.
Okay.
We'll try to engage more NGOs with us.
Okay.
And try to reach out certain kids who are really talented. We'll try to run certain competition between these NGOs. And if we get some good talent, we'll try to adopt them legally onto our space. And we'll try to find them maybe the sponsors. Or till the time we couldn't do that, we'll manage that on our own. But this is how we wanted to enroll more people and more kids into football.
Wow. And sir, I genuinely hope and I genuinely wish that you're able to have a lot many people in this program, because I genuinely feel money or lack of awareness, I think these shouldn't be factors for people to not probably pursue the sport.
See, we have certain channels where we are generating revenues.
Okay.
But there has to be a certain places where we need to spend it wisely.
Absolutely.
And exactly that is exactly what we are thinking of. That's why this idea came on our mind, that we have to engage more kids who are underprivileged, they don't have those advantages to get into an academy and get trained. But if we really find some good kids into certain NGOs, we'll try to bring them onto our space and give them everything whatever possible in our capacity.
Perfect, and that is just wonderful, sir. So, एक ना सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज जो मुझे एटलीस्ट फॉलोइंग इन द इंडियन सुपर लीग एज वेल इज सस्टेनेबिलिटी, राइट? कि बहुत आईएसएल क्लब्स बंद हुए हैं बिकॉज ऑफ पुअर फंड्स, राइट? हैदराबाद एफसी का भी यही इशू चल रहा है अभी, राइट? सो how do you plan to sustainably scale the club, right? Because I think Punjab FC has done a really good job in this first season, right? Mid-table finish, right? Won multiple games, a brilliant end to the season, right? Is there something from them that you sort of think, yeah, we would want to replicate this as well? And at the same time, just with the question of sustainability, right? Because that's a big problem in Indian football. How do you plan that?
No, we definitely require more investors along with our side.
Okay.
We definitely wanted to stay here, but we are looking for certain investors who can join hand with us and serve the purpose. As of now, we are already started our discussion with couple of companies. One is almost on a completion stage.
Wow.
And once it is done, one thing I can assure you that when we enter into an ISL next year, we will enter in the complete capacity. There will be no compromises, or there will be no budget issues which we wanted to bring in. We want to sort that out everything before the next season starts. And when we enter into a space, our intention is to win the championship in next not more than 2 to 3 years of a time.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the whole idea which we and the target which we wanted to give it to us. Good.
So, like infrastructurally, right? Because there are some minimum requirements, right? Even for AFC, for ISL, right?
Right.
What are the immediate things that you think need to be done, and what are something that will happen obviously over time?
Yep. So yeah, I don't think so. Those were issues. I think it's a very hot topic right now. Wherever I'm going, most of the people are asking about it. That there are certain either it is bank guarantee or anything that sort. We are not really concerned over these points. I think we have already 95% ready to enter into an ISL next week. So that's not a problem at all. Rest of the things we are currently working on it, and by the time when we are on day one, we'll be entering into with complete capacity.
Talking about you personally, right?
Yep.
What is the next sort of big win for you? What is your next? What would make all of this, like this is my sort of calling as well, or what?
See, I personally, if you want my personal agenda or maybe a target for myself is, I really wanted to lift the ISL Cup only with the Indian voice.
Oh wow, wow.
So that's the kind of target which I feel I have for myself, that I wanted to create a team which with all Indian boys and lifting a ISL championship.
And sir, I think the day that happens, I think is probably one of the most beautiful days for Indian football, because right now, unfortunately, all the key positions in different ISL clubs are taken up by foreigners.
Right.
And probably that is why we don't have a replacement for Sunil Chhetri.
So it is important to change the mindset right now, and but you cannot do it by yourself. There are a lot many people who need to work on it to create a system, to create an infrastructure for the locals. Whom we can get the talent. The earlier we were talking about, I was mentioning that every city and every state should have at least 2 to 3 academies for creating an opportunity for all these boys to at least start. When that happens, obviously you'll see that you're not losing any talent from any city, and you'll have more people and you have more better bench strength with every academy, any club or any team.
So now that you've particularly mentioned about this problem of lack of infrastructure or academies in like every city, right? Now, having been in the system for a couple of years now, right? What do you think are some of the major problems with the structure of football in the country that probably doesn't allow talent to come up?
See, I'll tell you what, it is more towards the popularity, because I think cricket takes everything. When it comes to getting support from the government, from the corporates, from everyone, I think it is a time, and I think it's a historical day for India, like Mohammedan winning an iLeague. It can be a revolution in the football industry, that maybe a government officials or maybe some corporates will think more towards this side and things can change.
A final message, sir. Number one, to all the Mohammedan Sporting fans, right? For what has happened over the last couple of years, ever since Bunker Hill has come in, and now to winning the
Yep.
championship. And lastly, to fans in the other part of the country, right? How do you wish for them to join the movement that Mohammedan has created?
Well, I would say, first of all, I want to say thank you for all the fans. Uh, बहुत इमोशनली बहुत सालों तक आप लोग हमारे साथ कनेक्ट रहे हैं और वो हमने देखा भी है. हमने 3.5 साल जो क्लब के साथ रहे हैं, उस 3.5 सालों के अंदर हमने रियलाइज़ करा था कि ये स्ट्रगल बहुत लंबा होता जा रहा है. बार बार जब फेलियर देख रहे थे टूवर्ड्स द एंड, तब हमें बहुत बुरा लग रहा था. बट जब हमने ये चैम्पियनशिप जीती और हम फैन से कनेक्ट हुए, उस टाइम पर एक चीज़ ज़रूर रियलाइज़ हुई कि शायद उनका स्ट्रगल पीरियड जनरेशन्स का था. तो ये चीज़ बहुत ज़्यादा मूव करती है और इसको हम थैंक यू बोलकर एक्चुअली थैंक यू कर भी नहीं पाएंगे, जस्टिफाई कर भी नहीं पाएंगे, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. It is a very big moment for all of us, for us especially, the kind of respect, the kind of love we are getting from everyone. All the international fans, they've been supportive on most of our social media pages as well. We definitely wanted to engage more with you. We'll try to figure out certain programs where we can engage with you guys more often, and we'll try to come to your city if it is possible, to play certain matches or just to showcase our capabilities to you guys. Thank you.
And I've not been here for long, right? But with the discussion we've just had right now, just informally talking to Sir as well, right? I've realized what sort of sweat went into creating a champion team, what sort of went into all of that. So keeping everything aside, I think as a football fan, I really want to thank you and thank what, commend what Bunker Hill is doing, because I think it's very important that, more and more corporates join with the sole intention of doing good for the sport in the country. And I think money making, yes, it is important, it is needed for sustainability, but if that can be kept as number two and just the idea of growing the sport, I think the country will grow much sooner. And again, I'm so humble and I'm so grateful for the entire team for that.
No, and I would say thank you as well, because there are very less people who are finding football as a fancy sport, and there are very less people who are actually promoting it the way you are promoting it. So thank you very much, and we need more people like you, because whatever we do in the system, if we don't have people like you in the system, I don't think so we'll be able to reach out to those many peoples in that way. So thank you very much as well.
Thank you so much, sir, and it's been an absolute honor, and I hope more and more titles, and I hope the Indian ISL dreams come true, and I'll be the biggest supporter then, and I'll always be your big supporter. Thank you so much.
Thank you.